Okay, I've just finished doing my workout. I did some pull-up progressions on the bars from around about 5:02 to 5:12, 9 minutes and 53 seconds. So I decided to not follow through with my 20-minute plan because I had done that in the morning and I had invested in myself partially in a way that I have wanted to do within my 1 year investment phase as planned. So I am definitely continuing making my progress. I have this look on my face that I'm showing in the thumbnail. I exaggerated this look to make it more clear as to how I'm feeling about my way of life. I was looking down, and it's not because I hate my way of life. I like it way more than I think I might have ever done in my life as a whole. But the reason why I have such a look on my face is because I'm further getting it together, and I'll explain what I mean now. So, very basically, I am really starting to understand that it's because I don't stick to my structure bang on, to the minute, I keep on finding it tough to do what I'd want to do on a daily basis. So for as long as I keep on not doing that, I'm going to keep on experiencing what I'm experiencing, which is a state of overwhelm and chaos in my way of life, because it's disordered on my terms. And in theory, that's not what I want, but that's what I'm setting myself up for by not following through with my plans. And this is something that I've been struggling with for years now, but I'm struggling with it less. I'm getting better at struggling with it and finding it way easier to stick to structure, my structures that I'd set throughout the day. And within my 1 year investment phase, I decided to plan for 3 months to just do no more than stress manage. And within 3 months, in order to manage my stress, I've decided what I'll do is I will go out of my way to do what it takes to stick to my structure every single day without fail, to make doing what I'd want to do on a daily basis way easier. And in order to experience results with that I'd want to see, with like my step goal, for example, I'd have to do that every day for at least a month, it seems. If I can't do that, or if I keep failing to do that, then it's up to me to pay the price of neglecting my way of life as a whole and never reaching my full potential, if I'm willing to pay that price. If I sacrifice, on the premise I sacrifice not sticking to my structure, then I'll pay that price, and that's not a price I want to pay. It's an intangible price, and maybe a physical price too, like the cost of my health, for example, due to feeling so stressed from my way of life, due to it being unstructured on a daily basis, and therefore breaking myself down on a daily basis, making myself age faster from all that stress and destroying myself from the inside out, not only physically but mentally too. So I'm gonna do a lot of bedtime reading, and I impulsively just thought, or spontaneously just thought, that what I could do is I could actually extend my period for that to 1 hour to get some more quality reading before bed. Something I could think of, make my way of life less intense. And I think I would be up for making that go in the pipeline, or trying to work toward that, so that I could keep up with improving my way of life how I want to. So cheers to that. If I do make the final decision that that's what I want to do, because it mean I'll be making my way of life easier gradually. So yeah, that's my main aim, to put life on easy mode, and I want to do that through stress management. So cheers to making that happen. But that's where I want to challenge myself to stick true to doing what I'd want to do on a daily basis to the minute. Now, in order to make this happen and to make this realistic, I would add some flexibility in there, because there are some times in which I would, especially on days that I'd be working, have unexpected distractions, such as really long conversations, like how I did this time round when I was working today for a solid half hour. I wasn't following true to my plans because I was having a deep conversation which I don't in any way regret having for 30 minutes. And I learned a lot which I'd be able to use for the rest of my life in that conversation. Hence I say I don't regret having that conversation, but that does, me having that conversation because I didn't plan to have it, does then mean that I didn't stick true to my structure. And now that I think of it, what I could do is I could make up a percentage tally to a degree, or a percentage mark as to how well I followed my structure. If I'm not following it all the time, there's, in my opinion, has to be some maths to it. If I have 10 objectives set to do at specific times and I didn't follow through with 5 of those times, I only really follow through with doing what I'd want to do when I'd want to do it 50% of the time. That is really amazing maths in mind, not in terms of the efficiency within that specific scenario, but within the concept of actually applying mathematics to my life. School might make applied mathematics look useless or seem useless, but in my opinion, it's not useless whatsoever on the premise you know how to apply it. If you know how to apply mathematics in your life, then you might be really setting yourself up to go further in your way of life in an ideal way, way more than you otherwise would have done, because you decided to make going about how you wanted to go about your life more structured with the help of maths. And to a degree, I am doing that with my 1 year investment phase by wanting to stress manage for a minimum of 3 months and then go through a consolidation period of doing everything that I would have been doing for another 1 month before taking it significantly further in a different direction, which I think I would have given myself enough time for, because I would have done that 5 months deep into the yearly investment phase. So I think that would be fine for me to move on from that point, because I think I would have been setting a solid foundation to for all my stress management techniques and for that to really settle in by that point. So cheers to keeping that up. I really want to just keep on progressing with this as far as I'm concerned, because it's now meaning that I'm doing what I want to do on a daily basis way more than I once was. And this is the story that I'm deciding to make and leave behind before I pass away. This is my story. And even after I pass away, I'll be able to leave this behind and set foundations for other people to be able to follow and have, create, follow and have a way of life that suits them. And perhaps without me really thinking about it on a daily basis, that might be the legacy that I'd be leaving behind. Not that that would matter to me though, because I wouldn't have the mental capacity to appreciate that, because I'd be dead. But for other people, they might appreciate it the same way Napoleon Hill's died, but I appreciate his Think and Grow Rich book, if he made it, that is. Just because the publishing companies say he does, doesn't mean he does. Doesn't mean he did, but regardless, pedantics aside, I do appreciate such messages, and I might be that same sort of person for people in the future. People from decades on, well after I've passed, might be able to access this video through different platforms and be able to see or have more of an understanding as to how they can live their life ideally. Same way I have for, once again, the Think and Grow Rich book. There are videos on YouTube, but by the time he was alive, YouTube didn't exist. But look, the videos that he made are on YouTube now, and easy to access for the next lifetime's worth of generations. Because he was born in the 1890s, if I'm not mistaken, and he died in 1970. I think it was 1892 to 1970, his lifespan was, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong in saying that though. But yeah, even though he made videos on how to live ideally with the Master Key principles, for example, 50 odd years later, the videos are there to access on platforms that never even existed back then. But now look now. And maybe my videos, when I'm dead and gone, would be on a different platform that isn't YouTube, but they'd still be there and they'd still be accessible. And that's, to me, more important than uploading the videos to YouTube. Plus, there's a deeper message to all of this. And I started thinking about a deeper message when I was thinking about the park that I was working out in. Very basically, it's a park that's been used to create communities rather than to destroy them. And perhaps I could go out of my way to do what it takes, not only to do that for communities, but to do that for myself, to create and build an ideal way of life for myself no matter what, and gradually move further away from destroying myself through self-destructive habits. So cheers to keeping that up, and I'd want to do that by sticking to the structure that I'd have planned each and every day. I just want to make it less intense because I find it too difficult to stick to at this point, and that's something I can work on. That said, I'll leave it there because I don't have much more to say. But the same way the car stopped as I just crossed the road, we could stop and reassess our life and keep going in a way in which we would sharpen our sword, metaphorically speaking, rather than fighting with a blunt one. So maybe that was quite convenient. But yeah, maybe what I need is a stop, just to reassess how I'm going about my life and make it more ideal, which I have been doing on a daily basis, to be fair. But I want to take things further. That's what I really want to focus on, my structure. Sticking to my structure on an everyday basis, make it easy to do, and don't plan to do so much. In order to, I found it. In order to actually do what I want to do, I've got to limit the specific timings I choose to do what I'd want to do. Make the time blocks larger, but decrease how many time blocks I'd have. So doing what I'd want to do would be more possible. There you go, with the idea of just a pedestrian crossing, I've been able to find my answer and realign with my answer, which is to not only go every day, but to keep doing what it takes when I do experience that progress on a daily basis, due to sticking to it every day. And it being my exercise, for example, my step goal, for example. Exercise meaning what I do in the parks. My step goals, for example, drinking how much water I plan to have to drink every day, for example. I haven't really tracked this as specifically as my step goal and as my sleep, but that reminds me, I need to track my strong lifts workout that I did, not only for now, for the video I'm recording, but also for the part before that, in which I was in the park reviewing my session. But yeah, I want to leave it on that note, with limiting the time blocks and limiting decisions, so that I can keep on making it easier to do what I'd want to do on a daily basis, but instead just make the time blocks to do what I'd want to do bigger and create some more flexibility to do them, so that doing them actually makes them possible. Thank goodness I've been able to solve that problem in theory, but now all I need to do as far as I'm concerned is play about with that idea and keep on doing what it takes to be able to make that happen, because if I don't, my plans as they have been are just going to be too inflexible, and because of that they'd be impossible to, or not impossible, let me correct that, more difficult and unnecessarily difficult to follow, because I'd be planning to the minute, and technically I would be doing that with the plans that I make now when I revise them, but instead I'd be planning to the hour. I'd be planning to do X, Y, Z for hours rather than planning to specific minutes with it for my main plan for the day. Things don't have to be like that, and I'm going to consciously decide now at this time, as I'm making this video at, hold on, 5:29 in what seems to be the afternoon, because it's still extremely bright, because it's spring now rather than winter, that I'm going to now instead do what it takes to not plan to the minute for my main plan for the day, and instead create larger time blocks to do what I'd want to do, so that my plans are more flexible and can deal with situations that I wouldn't expect to see coming, like long conversations, because they're bound to happen sometimes, like how it did today. It's bound to happen. Unexpected things are bound to happen, so it's up to me to be able to prepare for them, and I'll be able to do that through planning larger time blocks but fewer time blocks to follow, so that it's way easier to do what I'd want to do. On that note, that's it. I'll leave it at that. I'll give myself a high five and a self-hug. I'm off. Peace. Cheers to keeping this up. I'm a boss, I'm a gem, I'm a diamond, I'm a star. I've just got to keep on gradually moving up the self-actualization chain. Keep on following my pieces of advice, see where they take me, and if I need to adapt them, then so be it. But if I keep this up, I'll be fine. So cheers to that. I'm off. Peace. Well done me, and cheers to keeping this up. Not only for me, but also potentially for other people who would want to use it when I make it at the times that I'm creating this video, in the years I'm creating this video, and for the years ahead when I'm long dead and gone. Peace.